Can we just be honest that holidays bring big emotions? Let's talk about how to create space for your child to share what they're feeling. I am just continually baffled at how rarely people talk openly with their kids. It is so important. And I'm not saying just to tell your child every single thing that's going on. That's not it. There are conversations that are developmentally appropriate. There are conversations that are not developmentally appropriate. I'm just talking about having conversations with your child. I am out all sorts of different places and I will see people only talking to their children to correct them, tell them what to do. There is no just communication, no conversation. I guess this is much different than a parent and their child. But just the other day, Stark and I went to a place in Louisville called Feeder Supply. And there they have these pet washes where you can take your pet in, and rather than your bathroom getting all messed up, they provide all the materials for you and you just wash your pet. Well, Stark and I were doing this. I was washing him. He was not washing me. I was washing him, and there were two other people with their dogs in this pet wash. And I am constantly talking to Stark. I'm constantly telling him, good boy, my goodness. We've been working a lot on his reactivity around other dogs, and he was silent around these other dogs. So I was telling him how great he was doing. I was even telling him, hey buddy, I'm about to spray your head. And I'd spray it, and I know he doesn't like that. So I'd be petting him and I'd go, I know it's not your favorite. It's almost done. Okay. And I'm just constantly talking to him. I know he can't understand all the words that I'm saying, but I do think that me talking to him provides a little bit of peace. The other two people who were in this pet wash did not say a single word to their dogs the entire time they were washing their dogs. Their dogs would be barking, which is a normal thing that dogs do. I'm not saying that they should have told the dogs to stop, but their dogs could be barking. Their dogs were whimpering at times. Their dogs were shaking off. Their dogs were doing great things. Not a word. It is so important that we have open communication with children and we let them know that it's okay to openly communicate back to us. Kids need to know they can express their emotions freely. I went to Las Vegas one time a couple of years ago with some friends, and one thing that I really wanted to go do was go see Penn and Teller. They are magicians. If you don't know about them, look them up on YouTube. They are incredible. Their show was amazing. My friends didn't want to go. I still wanted to go, so I went by myself. And during that show, out of nowhere, Penn Jillette said something to this effect. I don't remember the exact words, so Penn, if you ever see this, I am so sorry if I misquoted you. But he said something like this: if someone is using words to express their emotions, it should always be okay. That is beautiful. Sometimes we might disagree with the way that children choose their words or the words that they choose. We might disagree with their tone, but if they are doing their best to use words to express their emotions, that should always be okay. Around the holiday season especially, let your child express their feelings, even if those emotions aren't what you expect or aren't what you wanted them to be feeling. Sometimes as parents and caregivers, we have these huge expectations that we are going to put all this money and time and energy into this thing, and our children are just going to love it, and they are just going to tell us how much they love it, and there is not going to be a single tear or a single raised voice, and then we do the thing and it's kind of a dud. And we can feel very hurt by that. But isn't it so amazing if a child is able to appropriately verbally communicate to you how they are feeling? Even if it's not what you expected, even if it's not what you wanted them to be feeling, it can be a celebration that even if you put all this time and energy into this thing and it just did not go how you wanted, if your child is able to express to you that they are not as excited about it as maybe you wanted them to be, I'm going to tell you that's a win. That is a win as a parent, because it means that they trust you and they trust that they can tell you about the things that might even be difficult for them to talk about and might even be difficult for you to hear. If someone is using words to express their emotions, or if someone is doing their best to use their words to express their emotions, it should always be okay. Now, I do work with children who have autism spectrum disorder, and some of those children are nonverbal. So it could be that they are not using words, but if they are doing their best to communicate with us how they are feeling, we should listen to that message and we should validate that what they are feeling is an okay way to be feeling, whether it's what we expect or whether it's what we desire. Another part of this open communication piece is that sometimes children's level of affection for family members may be different than what you are expecting. When that happens, understand this. Sometimes children only see these family members once or a couple times a year. So it might not be that they want to run up and give a big hug to this person that they don't know very well. Guess what? That is not something you want to train out of them. You don't want them to run up to any person who asks them for a hug and give them a hug willingly without asking any questions about it. So if there's a family member and that family member says, "Oh, can I get a hug?" and the child says, "No, no, no." It is not your job to say, "Oh, go ahead and give them a hug. Come on, get over there. You know you love them." No. Acknowledge that that child does not want to give that person a hug for whatever reason they don't want to give them a hug. My niece, when she was younger, I would ask her for a hug. She would say no because she was trying to kind of test boundaries of things. And you know what I did? I looked at her and I said, "Okay." And sometimes her mom and dad would look at her and be like, "Oh, come on, you love Uncle Stu, give him a hug." And I would say, "No, she does not need to give me a hug if she does not want to fully give me a hug." That is not our job, to pressure children to show more affection than what they want to show with people that they don't want to show this affection to. Be okay with that. And if a family member has a problem with that, it's then your job to step in and advocate for that child to say, "No, they do not want to give you a hug." You can ask them for a fist bump. You can ask them for a high five. You can ask them later one more time if they would like a hug. But no, you are going to have to earn that hug from them. And I am not going to try to pressure them into showing more affection than what it is that they want to show. And then overall, one thing that you can do is just do your best to use some open-ended questions. Now, questions can be difficult for young children, but the more open-ended those questions are, and the more you are okay with whatever answer they tell you, the better this system will go. You can ask them things like, "What are you most excited about this holiday season?" Or, "What's something you're worried about this holiday season?" And when you ask those questions, you can share your answers as well. When you ask, "What are you most excited about this holiday season?" can you share what it is that you're excited about? And if you ask, "What's something you're worried about?" can you share something that you're worried about? Sometimes children are waiting for your answer to see if this question is actually a safe one to answer. So if you model that vulnerability by sharing your own feelings in age and developmentally appropriate ways, then children will feel more willing to share their feelings back with you. If you do those things, you can foster open communication, and that open communication builds strengths not just around the holiday season, but for their whole entire life, that it is okay to feel however they feel. They get to choose how to respond, and it's okay to share those feelings with someone that they trust. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment about how you encourage open communication with your kids during the holidays.